Hello, everyone. Welcome to Entrepreneurs Coloring Outside the Lines. And today we have with us Lauralee Shapiro, and she's an entrepreneur and she's going to tell us a little bit about some of her startups and what she's doing. So the first question that I have is, Lauralee, so can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your startups?
Sure. Thanks for having me,
Yeah.
Rafi. Sorry. As you said, my name is Lauralee Shapiro. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and I currently live in Orlando, Florida, with my two children.
Uh-huh.
I'd spent close to 20 years working in the hospitality and convention industry, and in April of 2014, I left corporate America to become a full-time entrepreneur working in the network marketing industry.
Wow. Very nice. Um, so as far as your businesses are concerned, how many businesses do you have and what exactly do they do?
Well, I have two businesses that I work on. One is in network marketing with a company called Mint,
Mm-hmm.
the health and nutrition company, and the other one is working based on my experience in the corporate world as a conference planner.
Okay, great. Sounds great. So who would you say would be your target market? What kind of audience are you trying to reach?
Well, my main focus is looking to help people who want to live a healthy lifestyle, people that consume energy drinks or looking to make a little extra money,
Mm-hmm.
or just people that are plain tired of just getting by and want to have a new plan B.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. If you were to explain to us how actually do you generate revenue from your businesses? What would be your business model?
Well, my businesses are both commission based. My conference planning is strictly commission based on my contracts with the hotels for the conventions. My business with Mint, the network marketing business, is actually known as multi level marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that I earn commission not only on the sales from my own personal customers, but I also earn commission on the customers of my team. Um, there's a great quote that states, I would rather earn 1% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. And that's pretty much the way the business model is set up. So I'm generating revenue from other people's efforts in addition to my own.
Nice. I really like that quote personally. I think that's really important because ultimately, if you want to, I guess, you know, have your money work for you, like Robert Kiyosaki would say, you would have to automatize a lot of things. You would rather, like you said, um, let other people's work bring in some sort of a passive income for you, that's really great. That's exactly what I think all businesses should try to do at some point. At least, all entrepreneurs should look into doing that. It's great. Um, so my next question for you would be, what are some milestones that you plan to reach within about a year or so? Because as an entrepreneur, as you know, we have to have certain goals, and that's how we stay on track. That's how we know that we're achieving things, is that when we get close to achieving that goal. So what would be some of the things that you want to achieve within this year?
Well, my two different businesses are both very different professions. The conference planning one, my goal is to pick up uh, four new clients by the end of this year. And I'd like to pick up at least five new accounts each year moving forward. With the network marketing business with Mint, my goal over the next 12 months is to build my team to having a team of 20 and getting a residual income of at least 5,000 a month, which is very doable in this industry.
Hmm. Wow, very nice. So here's our next question, and that would be more of like a personal question. Why did you get started with entrepreneurship? Why did you decide that you wanted to become an entrepreneur? And why not, I'm sure you're qualified enough to go pick up a very nice, just a corporate job. What drew you, I guess, what would be your entrepreneurial start? When did you start and why did you start it?
Right. Well, I actually come from a family of entrepreneurs, so it always seemed natural that I wanted to make the shift. But really, I just got tired of trading my time for money. I wanted to control my own time. Working in the corporate world, yes, it was a very good living and a very good salary and a bonus structure. But they controlled my hours, when I have to come into work, when I can leave work. I would have to do travel for business, working extra hours, Saturday coverage, 6 o'clock office coverage. And for me as a single parent, that was really difficult. I was spending more and more time away from my kids. Um, the company was demanding more and more of my time and not getting paid anymore for it. And as an entrepreneur, you're in charge of your time and you get paid for it. And if you
Hmm.
don't get paid for it, it's your own fault because you haven't worked hard enough. So you're going to work harder. So if I'm going to work 50, 60 hours a week, I'm going to do it for myself and I'm able to balance the time. It really came down to a work-life balance for me.
Hmm.
Because my kids are my priority. And so if I want to go and have lunch at the elementary school with them, then I can do that without having to ask someone permission to take time off to go and have lunch with my kids. And that's really what it came down to.
So you would say that the best, your top, um, one of your top reasons might be more freedom as far as your schedule, more flexibility in your schedule when you do and don't work.
Absolutely.
Hmm. What about the
Yeah. But
income?
even
Uh-huh.
when I'm not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about the income potential? Was that any kind of incentive that you don't have really a capping? It's really all about how well can you um,
Oh,
grow your
absolutely. Yeah, you'll make as much as you possibly can. Whereas when I was working on the corporate side in hotel convention sales, the bonus plan was capped. And once you reach that benchmark,
hmm
it didn't matter how much more work you put in, you weren't getting paid anymore for it. And as someone coming from the world of sales, that just makes no sense at all. That's not how you incentivize a salesperson to work harder by saying, okay, you've reached 125% of your goal,
hmm
keep going, but we're not going to pay you anymore. It just makes no sense at all. So if I'm going to do 200% of my goal, I'm going to get paid 200% of my goal. And so, yeah, that's a huge factor is the potential to make as much as I want.
It's a great incentive. I really do like that actually.
Absolutely.
Um, all right, let's talk a little bit about, I at least from my experience, entrepreneurship seems really, great from the outside. When you're looking at a life of an entrepreneur, like, wow, they have so much freedom. They're still making money from doing something that they enjoy doing. A lot of entrepreneurs, attain a lot of, I guess, like a celebrity like status very quickly. So I know that from the a lot of times as an entrepreneur, starting a business, it's not the easiest thing. It's especially when you're starting out, it's really difficult actually sometimes for a lot of people. And I'm sure that we all have had our struggles in an entrepreneurial journey. And I guess, you know, a lot of the starting parts are a struggle. With that being said, I want to ask you, what are some challenges that you faced and or are facing right now, or you plan to face, or you kind of expect that they're coming up sometime in the near future?
Well, the biggest challenge for the first couple of months was really trying to figure out the work life balance, the time management, um, taking the kids to school and picking them up. It limits my hours of when I can work. So I get back to my office at home by 9, and then I have to leave at 3 to go and pick them up. So between 9 and 3, I had to be super, super productive because it's a much shortened work day. And then, of course, if I go out and do some network lunches and meeting people and whatnot, that's taking time out of the office. So I do still work a lot late in the evenings. And it's really just a juggling act trying to figure out the time management component of it. Um, because, yeah, you can work 18, 20 hours a day as an entrepreneur, but if the reason you got into it is a work life balance, then you're defeating the whole purpose of it. But at the same time, you can't say, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm just going to work 6 hours a day and kick back because you're not going to make a living at it. With regards to one of the challenges that I face, um, with my conference planning, it's a very niche market, finding the people that are the decision makers, getting past the gatekeepers
Mm-hmm.
to the decision makers to get the introduction, to get the appointment, things like that. With my network marketing business, one of the biggest challenges I have is that a lot of people are very afraid to try something new. They've got preconceived ideas of what network marketing is, and so they put the blinders up and they really won't take an honest, open-minded look at what the opportunity has. It may not be for them, and I totally respect that, but the challenge that I face is that a lot of people just won't even take the time to try and listen to it because they're too afraid to listen about something new, and that's a challenge. I'm
Right.
still working on overcoming that.
Right. So when you approach these people, is there some sort of a commitment that they make up front, which might be some sort of startup cash they have to put into it to, or buy the products, or is this just that?
Not as well. I mean, if they want to be a customer, then yes. I mean, you're purchasing products, but the products that I represent are products that people are buying anyways. People are buying energy drinks. My product is an all natural, healthy energy drink. So you're just replacing the spend anyway that you're spending at 7-Eleven buying one of those energy drinks as opposed to buying a different energy drink that is healthier for you. So that's where I have to talk to people. So I'm not really looking for people to spend more money that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
It's just spending money that they're already spending, but buying healthier products for them.
Okay. Next question is for our audience. Um, Especially this kind of a show is geared more towards those people, younger people who are either considering starting a business or may have just started a business but don't really know how to kind of proceed, or are looking for some advice from someone, who's already been doing it for a while, such as yourself. Um, let's say that there was we're talking about we're talking about someone's fresh out of college. Let's say 20, 22 years old, starting out a new business, um, whatever that business might be. If there was in general five tips or five things that you think that every starting or rookie entrepreneur should know, what would you say that those five things are?
Um, that's a great question. The first one I think would be to, as I just said on my last comment,
Mm-hmm.
to have an open mind and think outside the box. If you're attracted to the entrepreneur lifestyle, um, don't put your blinders on and think that all that needs to be is a brick and mortar business. We're opening a franchise of a restaurant or a sandwich shop or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to manufacture a product. There are all kinds of different opportunities to be an entrepreneur. You can, do services. You can sell products. Just to have an open mind. And network marketing is one of the things that I looked at, and that business model really appealed to me, and that's why I've gone down that road of network marketing. The second point is it's not easy. This is not a get rich quick model.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, everyone would do it. So you need to be prepared to put in the hard work. Do your homework before you venture into any sort of a business. You need to know everything about the business. You need to know about the competition. You want to know the company culture if you're going to be getting a franchise, to be a business owner of a franchise. If you're going to be an independent contractor with another company as a 1099, you need to do your homework on that company. Ask around, how quickly do they pay their people? What are your liabilities going to be? You need to make sure that whatever business you're going to get into, that it's a good fit all around. You can't just say, well, I love surfing, so I'm going to have a surfing shop.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do your homework. The other thing is that, and I learned this from one of my mentors, is the expression "slow and steady wins the race." That is not the case at all. When you are an entrepreneur, the analogy that this mentor uses is it's very similar to an airplane.
Yeah.
Is your new business. If you look at an airplane going down the runway, that throttle is not at 20%. The engines are not at 40% or 60% or 80%. If you want that plane to get off the ground, you need to have the throttles all the way down at 100%. And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same with your business. If you're going to start a business and you're only going to give it 20 or 50 or 70%, you can't get frustrated that it's not happening because you're not giving it 100%. And that kind of leads into the fifth point, is get a mentor. People that are successful doing what it is you want to do. Surround yourself with the people you want to be. But more important than just having a mentor, you have to be willing to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that become entrepreneurs because they don't play well in the sandbox with corporate America. They like to do things their own way. And if you're going to get a mentor, you have to make sure that you're willing to listen and take the advice and follow the advice because they're successful. That's why they are your mentor. But if you're not going to listen to them and follow their advice, then you're really wasting their time and yours. But definitely getting a mentor is a huge
Mm-hmm.
asset to starting your own business.
Wow, very nice. I really like your analogy of the airplane, actually. That's a really good way to think about it. That's something that, I guess I struggle with myself. I'm just lazy. My business is with I have this chess leadership program, and I've got 9 schools where I'm hosting this program right now. But my biggest problem is I can't force myself to get up at 9 a.m. every morning and start making these cold calls to the schools that might want my program. I got the first 5 and I just kind of gave up. And I said, okay, well, I've got 5 schools right now. I'm making enough for me that I can pay my bills. I should just stop. But really, if I really want to grow my business, I have to at some point start to hire enough people to where I can just completely stop teaching on my own and just start to put different people in different schools. But the biggest thing that I struggle with is that I stay up till 5 a.m. and then I get up again at 2 p.m. the next day, and the schools are closing at that time, so I can't really reach anyone anymore.
Goes back to time management.
Right. So I think that your analogy can be applied to a lot of people. And for me, I could benefit from maybe getting up a little bit earlier and really putting that other percentage of time into my own business. So that's great. That's really good advice.
I have good mentors.
Yes, that's the thing I was going to ask you about is that. So let's say that, for example, let's take my other startup, for example. I have a tech startup, mycampushacks.com, but there's no one around me because I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, and tech startups are not heard of here. I've never heard of one personally.
Right.
And so I couldn't find a mentor who's ever done something like that. What would your recommendation be for someone who just cannot physically find any kind of mentor that might have done anything similar to what they're trying to do?
Well, we live in a virtual world. It doesn't matter if they're in Tennessee or not.
Mm-hmm.
The mentor that I'm referring to, that I got that analogy from, he lives in Arizona, and I live in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
There's Google Hangouts. We're doing a Google Hangout.
Okay, sure.
Just if you know the industry that you're in with the startup, the website that you made reference to, find other people that have launched other websites. It may not be a direct competitor, but something within that same realm. Facebook would be a good example. And reach out to them and ask them to mentor you. Find out what their story was. They don't have to be in Memphis, Tennessee to be your mentor. They could be anywhere.
That's a really good point. Yes. You just kind of have to, I guess, put yourself out there. That's good. Me personally, actually, if I were to answer the question, I would say that, a lot of my mentors I've actually never met before, yet I really do follow every step that they take because I read their books. I listen to their YouTube lectures, and I sometimes, every now and then I do reach out to them and they reply back to me, which is really cool. And you get to kind of build that relationship, which is really important sometimes if you really want to, kind of, I guess, look for other opportunities because you never know what could open up. Someone could have some idea that kind of, goes in parallel with yours, and you guys could work on the idea together. So that's really good advice. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. We have one last question for you, which is more along the lines of contacting you. If let's say that someone wants to find out more about your businesses, how they can start something like you did, or find out just more about you in general and the projects that you're working on, if they have any questions, what would be the best way to reach you, and how should they do that?
Well, on Facebook, they can reach me through my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Avenue of Change,
Okay.
because my role is changing people's lives. So it's the Facebook page is Avenue of Change. My Twitter is AVE of Change, the abbreviation for Avenue, so Av of Change. And my corporate site, if anybody wants to actually look at the products or the business model with Mint, the website for that is www.avenueofchange.gomynt.com. So it's avenueofchange.gomint.com. And we do spell mint with a Y, just makes it a little bit funky.
Okay, sounds great. Are there any last words you would like to say to anyone out in the audience? And you're focusing mainly on young entrepreneurs who want to be an entrepreneur or just started their business. Anything else that you would share with them?
Don't give up. If it's your dream, just keep pushing for it, and don't listen to the haters, all the people that say, "Oh, why are you doing this? You're never gonna make it.
Hmm.
You're wasting your time. Just go get a job." Don't listen to those people. If in your heart you know it's right for you and it's what you want to do, and you believe in you, then just ignore all the haters and keep doing what you want to do.
That's some great advice. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. So thank you again so much, Lauralee Shapiro. I'm sure you've provided some really great advice for those young entrepreneurs out there, and we thank you again so much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You too. Thanks.
All right.